I guess we're good? Lights, camera, action. Oh, we are on. Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our April 6th, 6 o'clock planning board meeting, Thursday, April 6th. I think we'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance like we always do. I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the United States of America,
and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Why do I have to say? You guys could have piped in too. All right, 6 o'clock. Board update, board member updates. Anybody got anything?
No.
The only update I have is that I asked Maren to talk to Emily about build-out scenarios for the train station. When do you think we'll see that kind of stuff, that we can start to post it and let people see what we're talking about?
Well, I have a check-in with her next week, and then we have a date set aside of May 23rd for a meeting.
Okay,
We'll start talking about the format of that,
okay.
and that's the same date that we had set aside from before.
So just to recap, I asked her to do a build-out scenario of 150 units for the first parcel, then the second parcel next, just to give us an idea, obviously knowing full well that those have to be, because of the limited amount of area there, they're going to be high-rises, and then if there's a potential for the one further up, just so that everyone can kind of see the couple of different scenarios. And we also talked to them about breaking off the parcel, the bigger parcels, so that we don't have to worry about the density, so that's not going to be an issue with the state, so that it had to be, we had an A&R piece of it, so we can still keep maybe 15 acres and still have our density that we're looking for, 12 per, what was it, 12 per acre or something to get the 150.
Somewhere in that range, depending on.
What that would look like, so that's what we're asking for, to have those drawings. And as Anna suggested, and I think it's a good idea, that once we start getting these drawings, that we post them somewhere. Maybe we post them at the what's that big place with all the books? The library over there. Maybe
Yes.
we can get a bulletin board or something. We can put them there. We can put them in the case over here, so that people get a chance to see it. I mean,
And then online as well,
well,
obviously.
all our stuff is always online, but the knock, remember from the last one, is that people don't know what we're doing, you know? I think we try to be as transparent as possible, but just the more places that people can see it, I think the better off we are. All right, that's my spiel. Anybody else? Nobody else?
I have a couple items.
Ugh. Go ahead.
So with the Complete Streets presentation that we had a couple of weeks ago, there were probably about 10 participants. And so when Steve Yanley was here, I said, you know, the mini golf tournament is going on, or the mini golf is going on at the library. Maybe we can pick up some more comments. And so we were able to pick up about another 40 comments to be able to add to that particular map of Complete Streets, so that the wiki map has a little bit more data on it now. And I think that's really helpful, because if there could be spots around town identified, I would say that overall the biggest comment that I heard when I was helping folks with the wiki map was sidewalks. They want sidewalks so that they don't feel like they're at risk when they're out walking. So that's one thing. Then the other one, I just wanted to mention that there was a select board meeting a week ago Monday, when the select board was looking at all of the different HCA agreements with marijuana-related organizations. And so I know that right now there is a relook at tweaking the one for sanctuary. And so I just wanted to say that I really hope that between select board, and if it comes back to us in any way, that we can take a look at possibly trying to help mitigate that smell.
Okay.
Yeah.
I asked Maren if she knows if my understanding is I heard that they're coming in for an expansion of that, so if they do come in, they obviously have to come before us, and we can address it then. Not so sure the selectmen are gonna wanna send it back to us about the smell, but hopefully they'll listen to what we have to say and send it back to us.
Because last we heard, the smell had not been I mean, it was still an issue,
Yeah.
right? The mitigation hadn't worked.
Correct.
Why would they allow expansion?
Well, I don't think we would until the smell situation's
Right.
resolved.
But select board doesn't have to bring it to us, though. They can make
Well, they're gonna need a
a,
site plan.
The, let's see, the special permit, the current special permit that the planning board issued for sanctuary was valid for 5 years.
Oh, okay.
So they will have to come apply to the planning board by mid-August of this year in order to renew. And I had a brief conversation with Board of Health Director Jim Gareffi this morning, and he mentioned that they are possibly looking at an expansion there, and that expansion might help with the mitigation process. But I,
might.
because it might allow additional room for additional inside barriers and additional filtering. But unless and until we get the application, I don't.
So they
care
have to come
really-
before us in August anyway.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Okay.
so.
Anything else?
No.
I want to just mention that they've been busy clearing the site, the Northern Bank site, this week, and it really looks great without buildings.
Oh, they're gonna be nice new
Without the
buildings.
dilapidated buildings?
Yes, and they, put loam down, and it just, took out the parking lot, and it looks great.
Good.
I don't know have you, anything come in on that, or what? Everyone asks me all the time, oh, when are they gonna start? No idea.
Yeah, no building permit applications at this point.
No, not yet,
Yeah.
no. Did, nope, never mind, lost it. Anything else? Bartlett, you have any? No? Minutes, prior meetings, February 9th and March 8th? Anybody? Everybody look
So I wanted to comment on the February 9th meeting. There were just a couple of public comments, but I had in my own notes that there were like 9 public comments, so I don't know if maybe the note taker missed those or they were consolidated, but I just want to make sure that we have all the public comments from that particular meeting in the notes.
Okay, so if you have more information you can send to Lucy and I, please do.
See ya? Okay.
Thank you.
What about the other one? Anyone have any problem with March 8th? Any issue? No? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from March 8th as presented.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Cool. Bills, any bills?
Yes. Next bills. 3 sets of bills. Let's see, first one from Innes Associates, February bill for $7,000 for the MBTA Communities work, reimbursement to board member for attendance at the CPTC annual conference, and
You right.
old peer review bill for Green International for Croft Common, one that I had missed along the way.
I known they were gonna pay us to go, I would have considered it. Not.
It was, we've got a lot, CPTC board got a lot of great feedback from that conference. Having Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll do the welcome at the beginning of the sessions was really very nice. It was unique.
Oh, I know what I have while we're still in this. Have you been posting the letters that we're getting from the Attorney General about the compliance with the train station? Just so that everybody knows that they've been making us aware that we are in serious violation if we don't do something.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, just want to make sure they're on the website.
Yeah, I put that on the Littleton Village Commons / MBTA Communities page. I put that up near the top.
Cool. All right.
So I was going to comment on what Maureen just said about the lieutenant governor. She had a pretty good speech, and I think she was able to lighten everybody's load by saying, just remember, you will get yelled at. Okay? You will get yelled at.
I think a little more than yelled at.
So,
Wellington Drive bond release, are we close to that? Or
It's closing in on it. Conservation Commission is still waiting for the request for certificate of compliance, but it's closer. So the
Croft Circle, they're gonna be ready for town meeting?
Croft Circle, yes, Green International did the final punch list on that. I ran that by, well, actually Steve Yonley was out at that session on that site visit too, but he reviewed the punch list and is confident that the developer can get everything done before town meeting. We always have the opportunity to not move forward at town meeting if everything is not complete at that time. I would recommend holding the bond until after town meeting.
Okay.
But
So-
the construction went very well out there for the bond, so.
I didn't have a comment on Croft Circle, but I did want to ask something about Wellington Drive, if we could ask them. So they poured the concrete, or they poured the asphalt over on where the 2 parking spaces are supposed to be instead of gravel, but there's no delineation that says that there's 2 spaces, so if it's possible for them to do that, it would be really helpful to actually demarcate, straight, thank you.
Or at least a sign.
Or something, yes, because otherwise somebody will come in and just kind of park like an asshole, and, you know.
Can you say that at a public meeting?
Did I hear that?
Sorry.
Yeah, she opened it up. I'm gonna jump into something else because I know Jeff's gonna leave, so, we have a couple of minutes. Mara and I were speaking before everybody else got here about the assistant town planner. Well, we have a couple of minutes, so Jeff can leave right after. My thought was, or Maren and my thoughts were either have a Zoom meeting to have the applicants so that we can ask them questions and do it via Zoom, because some of them are still in school and things like that. Pick a day. I think sooner rather than later, because we have the money, we're ready to go. So do you want to do it as a public meeting here, or do you want to do it as a remote Zoom meeting and post it, or do you want to do it less than 3 people, so we don't have to post it, or what's the board's flavor on this one? Anybody?
What about the applicants? I mean, are they expecting a group interview or?
A group interview is the norm, and,
Okay.
and interview with at least planning board representatives, if not the full board. So,
If you want to do it in front of the cameras and everything else and live, I have no problem scheduling it for that. If you want to do it remotely through Zoom, which might be easier for them, because some of them are still in school, correct?
correct.
So, and when do you want to do it? Do you want to try to do it within the next couple of weeks, I would hope?
I would hope, yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I would say that to try to make it convenient for the applicants, if we can figure out a time, even if it's not at a normal time, that would
To
be
do it
fine.
remotely?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it makes it easy that we can all ask questions. Sure.
Okay.
It's probably, like I said, easier since they're all still in school doing finals and stuff like that. Everybody okay with that?
Mhm.
All right. See, Jeff, now you can leave
Great.
shortly. Anything else? We have, we're gonna have nothing to do, you know? Is
I
anybody-
know, it's really unfortunate.
Yeah, so, give us something, we can't talk about Durkey now, we'll talk about them because we have nothing else to do. What about, future board meetings while Jeff's still here?
Yeah. Yes. I have lost everybody's schedule for the next several weeks.
Do we really need a meeting next week? It's not like we're killing ourselves tonight.
Doing nothing.
Doing nothing, I know, I
Right.
have another meeting.
Okay, so based on discussions later on this evening for 265 Foster Street and for the Air Road, 254 to 260 Air Road. So for the Air Road, they're working through, well, we'll have the hearing shortly. They don't expect amended plans to be ready for a back check by Green until late in April, April 21st. And so then a meeting early in May would work for them.
Okay. 265, I'm only asking from a scheduling standpoint, that's all I want to know about. Are you going to be ready for our early May meeting if we,
Yeah, we're hoping to have stuff submitted to Green next week so that they can then review.
okay, so why don't we, so we don't need one in the next 2 weeks, why don't we do early May?
Okay.
But then
Now,
Dennis is
remember,
not
I will
here.
not be here, but you guys will still have a quorum. I won't be back
Well,
in
how
town
many do
until the
they
14th.
need? Do they need 4 or 3?
They need 4.
That's a problem, because I have to recuse myself.
Oh, yeah.
When are you due back?
I come back on.
Will you come early if they pay for it?
No.
It's not worth it.
No. I come back on May 13th.
And I've got those 2 weeks.
Well, yeah, but we could still do it without you, that
Yes.
part of it, yeah. So what's the Thursday after, what's the,
The 18th. And we have something scheduled for the
Penciled in
18th.
so then why don't we just leave it on the 8th? We're gonna have to continue to the 18th.
Sorry, I'm going to Europe, guys, you know.
Way more important than this paving project.
Well, no, not to you, but
All right, so why don't, so that we won't have another meeting till the 18th, I
Okay,
guess. We don't
so
need
we
it.
won't have one next week then.
No, we really don't have anything we can do. Nothing's gonna be ready for us.
Right, the only thing, I'll try to slide in a remote meeting for interviews with
Yeah,
that. And if
that'll be
there's-
nice.
If there's any pressing board business, then,
And schedule it during the middle of the night in Madrid so that Lisa, if she wants to do
Right.
that, can.
Right.
She could do it remotely, couldn't she?
Of course.
theoretically.
Yeah.
Theoretically,
Theoretically.
Yeah.
we
then
could do it earlier.
But not if it's like in the middle of the night.
You're just not.
That would be like 1
You're just not
a.m.
dedicated enough.
I guess you won't be sober. I guess that's the more of the pressing
Exactly.
issue.
No,
So
you're
leave
up,
it-
you're up late and
Let's leave it
stuff.
for that. What?
My daughter calls from London all the time, so.
Yeah, it's only
And,
6.
and she's what, 30 years old? No. I go to bed at 9. No, I mean, obviously if something urgent comes up, then just let me know. I mean, I'll have my computer and everything, so.
Try
So,
not to.
before, so what, for this town meeting, what are the planning board
We don't have
related-
anything.
We don't have anything?
The only thing is the street acceptance for Croft Circle.
Yeah,
Yay.
so, yeah. Yeah, we don't have anything pressing.
Okay.
We're hoping to get the train station, but
Yeah.
that was the only thing we have, so we're okay. Is there much gonna be on this town meeting? I don't think so, is there?
I haven't seen
Draft warrant?
draft warrant, but,
Sewer.
The sewer's gonna be on, why?
additional, a little gap funding for
Oh.
that. So one of the bids came in higher. Some of them came in quite as expected, and apparently one of them came higher. So I had I'll dive in for the next,
Couple,
Thir-
I
30
don't think
seconds.
they worry if we're a couple of minutes late. We got nothing to
Yeah.
do.
had a very good remote meeting, Water Department, Town Administrator's Office, and myself, and 2 representatives of the state Mass Works grant program. So the state is asking the town for 1 contract for the combined $1.5 million Mass Works grant and $8 million legislative earmark. So they provided, walked the town through that, town and water department through that process today, gave us some paperwork to complete, information to get back to them, to the state. And the state, as long as the town is and water department work together and are responsive on getting that information back to the state, we'll be able to have that signed by the end of June.
Oh, good.
And that just broke yesterday, so,
great.
and the forms came in today, so
Cool.
it was very exciting to see that coming together.
Anything else?
That was a big one.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Still no talk about the bridge or anything else with the state, did you?
Well, the MassDOT did approve the concept of replacing the bridge deck. And so that kicks off a lengthy process of 10 years, probably funding. That's the scale of it anyway, for replacing that bridge deck.
What about the rotary thing, or is that still kind of in limbo till they figure out what they're doing with the bridge?
No, that would be, actually, that was interesting. The MPO reached out to the town to ask us to move that forward onto the tip. Get that moved forward for federal
Oh.
funding sooner than later, because it turns out over the next couple of fiscal years, there's a little more room for smaller projects, or less expensive projects like
So we still haven't
transportation
even got it
projects.
funded yet, we're just still,
Right, but
okay.
we're going to move that forward.
Anything else? Can I go have a nap somewhere?
No,
Are we done?
I think we're 6:20.
All right, so at 6:20, we have a public hearing for 265 Foster Street. I'm going to recuse myself because I have a relationship with the people that actually own the business there, and I've done work for them personally, and I feel I need to recuse myself from that. So you guys just let me know when I can come back. I'll be hiding. I'll be playing solitaire when you call. Thank you. Get by. I can get by now.
That's so cool.
Yep. Okay, oh, I got a new one. Okay.
So, finish this, we've done this. This was Camp 550, was, that's canceled.
Okay, so Foster Planning Board number 2? Okay, good guess. Huh? I'm gonna open. There it goes. You can go ahead and start talking, it'll be here.
Okay. Good evening.
The mic, please.
Yeah. Good evening, I'm Pat Connolly from Fields Associates, with Terrence Bundy of GID. So I just put together a couple quick slides to address some of the topics that came up last hearing. We received the peer review comments from Green on Friday about midday, so we're working through those, preparing responses, but aren't prepared to present any of that tonight. We'll just do it all together. So if you go to the next slide, just a refresher of the site. Route 2, 495, Foster Street, the train station. I think everyone is aware of where we are. So the 5 things to touch on. One of the things was there was a question if we submitted a stormwater permit in our original application. So after that last hearing, we just confirmed that it was in the original application. It was all filled out and signed. We completed a site visit on March 22nd with the Conservation Commission, and Anna joined as well, where we just walked the site, answered some questions from the commissioners, and then we also sent in the signed page from the O&M as requested in the last hearing earlier this week. So most of the presentation today is just clarification about the site and whether it's in an aquifer protection district, and then, as I mentioned, the peer review responses are underway. So going to the next slide, we checked the official map of the aquifer protection district, which is in the darker orange color, and then the water protection district is the yellow. So our site, if you're looking at the left map, our site's kind of in the bottom half towards the left where 495 and Route 2 form a cloverleaf. And then in the right image is a rough approximate of where the site is. So according to the map, the back portion of the site is within that aquifer protection district. Whether it's intentional or when they drew out the map, either way, that's how it's shown. So next slide. This is using the GIS system just because I was able to zoom in more with higher quality. So approximately 35,360 square feet of the almost 12-acre site is mapped, shown within the Aquifer Protection District. So if you do the math, it's a little less than 7% of the lot area is within the Aquifer Protection District. Right now, it's completely forested. As part of the project, it remains completely forested. The majority of our proposed work is kind of within that middle parcel 1-2 That's where most of the paving is. There's somewhere closer to the building, the bottom half, but there really isn't much work at all in the top parcel 1-3, which is partially in the district. So we did a double check, looked through the zoning again, and there's no language that says, oh, if a portion of the site is within the Aquifer Protection District, then you must treat the whole parcel or property as if it was in the Aquifer Protection District. And I couldn't come across any language talking about a lot being in 2 zoning districts, or some towns have language like that in their zoning. So we kind of take it at face value if all the work is within the Water Protection District, Water Resources Protection District. That's why we originally submitted the special permit under that district, and kind of maintain that's the appropriate way to do it. And I think that's the last slide. We're open for any questions or comments.
Could you go back a slide? There we go.
The only thing I would add is that when the Light and Water Department established the base mapping that town meeting then voted on for the most current Aquifer Water Resource Overlay District, the attempt was to go along the property lines, not to split parcels. It doesn't show.
Didn't
that.
quite, yeah.
Well,
And
that's a matter of the mapping.
Right. And I did notice that the water department has requested monitoring wells, but otherwise I didn't see any adverse judgments about.
Yeah, that was, even for the special use permit before we acquired it, that was one of the closing conditions to make sure we weren't, stepping into something that would be a problem. They never installed them back in 2008, so they installed 2 we were told in support of the water department, and they looked at the readings that we got. We have a letter saying there were no issues, so.
So, just for the hearing purposes, Maren is stating that the intention of the Aquifer Protection Borders was to follow property lines, but it didn't end up that way, but yet that was its intention. The intention was that this parcel would not be in the Aquifer Protection District, but in the Water Resource District.
Correct.
Okay.
And then depending on how the board cares to interpret the GIS mapping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
we can bring this up to the board, but, I mean, are there any comments about this particular situation?
Well, thank you guys for taking a look at this. So I guess my question would be, could we treat it almost separately? In other words, those 35,000 acres or square feet, sorry.
Well,
I knew that was too much. Would it be possible to treat it separately and not have anything change? I mean, I don't think we're planning to have anything change
Yeah,
there,
that's
but.
No,
pretty
it's-
far in the
but-
woods.
Isn't going to be all woods?
Yeah,
It's gonna
that's
stay all
right up
woods?
by the 94, 95 there.
So if it's actually intentionally done, and that we can highlight that in the decision that says, in this particular area that is in the aquifer, there shall be no development and, continued protections, et cetera.
Okay. Bartlett?
Yeah, that would be fine. I don't see any issues.
And Lisa?
No, I agree, but I think it should be written out.
Right. Well,
For
this
future.
was the next comment. We're to the, point in this where we can draft a decision, and the question would be what conditions the board would like to have on that decision, and this would be one of them. Okay. I looked, well, and the other thing is, I looked at the green, we're used to seeing these long lists of things. So, I didn't see anything did you see anything that jumped out at you, or?
Just how detailed they were.
Yeah, they're very detailed.
Very thorough.
Yeah, you forgot to mention a few points,
Yeah, yeah,
but no, nothing looked
okay.
a big surprise.
Anna?
So I was just going to say, I know that you're also in conversation with Conscom, and they were quite concerned about the water that was coming over from the train station area. Could you explain that to folks a little bit more? Because I think that was another big finding from the site visit.
Yeah, so when we were out there, kind of in the back corner of the building, there's an outfall under the railroad tracks. So basically all the water up the hill comes through this outfall and then down into a catch basin on our site and then disappears. And so there was a lot of questions, that's a lot of water, where's it going? I wonder where it's going. On the left side of the property on this image, between our property and the Route 2, I guess it is, there's some like marshy areas in there. So basically, when we looked at the plans, there's a drain pipe that goes, we think, from that catch basin parallel to the back of our building all the way, and then there's an outfall into a channel that goes basically towards Route 2. So our educated guess was the water's going into the catch basin and then transported down this 30-inch drain and then outfalls and then flows off our property through a channel. We were in front of the Conservation Commission Tuesday night. They, I guess, appreciated that explanation but wanted us to look into it further. So we're going to plan to go out, I think, next week, do a dye test to confirm, water is actually flowing in that pipe and coming out.
Yeah, and it's interesting, it's the water not on our site,
No,
comes
yeah.
onto it and then.
No, it doesn't seem right, but, and I suppose at the point, well, anyway, I don't know. Because that's a big paved area that would be draining onto your site.
Right, so they also had questions of, is the water coming from the MBETA lot or is it coming from further up the hill?
Yeah.
I'm going to try to work with Amy Green to see if she has plans to kind of figure that out. Otherwise we have to get permission to go on the land to try to figure out, if there's wetlands where the water's coming from, which we're willing to do if we have to, but in my opinion, the conversation kind of was all over the place on Tuesday, and
Right.
We're trying to answer as many questions as we can. But,
Okay.
Yeah, that one was a tough one.
Yeah, so that's something that I think we just needed to know about. And then the third one that I wanted to raise is the area around where the concrete stops and the vegetation starts, is making sure that has a perimeter of pea stones around. And
Yep.
that's what you were planning on doing?
Yes. Yep.
To be able to provide that protection from the vegetation that's there.
So, at this point, so you have on this matter, some investigation to do. You have the peer review to respond to. Marin had said she will embark on the draft decision.
And then I have told the applicant's team that I'm always willing to accept whatever draft that they can.
Oh, sure,
to-
yeah, if you,
It-
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, the original idea was change number 6 and.
No, well, we're at the point, I think, with this, that we could do that. And our next meeting is March 18th, and if. May, excuse me, yeah, back, you have 9 months, 11 months to go. And it's possible, if all the ducks are in a row, that it could be wrapped up at that time.
Yeah, that'd be great. I guess I just have one question regarding the blue area. For our project, I have no problem with that, restriction because we're not going anywhere near it. But, potentially down the line as some apartment redevelopment, or who knows what happens with the overlay. If it wasn't supposed to be on the property, do you think, should we still have that on our property if that wasn't the original intent? And this is for our project, I don't have any problem with it. I'm just wondering for 10 years down the road, if someone, us or somebody else, looks into it and wants to put something way in that back corner by the highway, if it needs to be there.
This is an interesting question about the relationship between the intention of mapping and with the actual mapping. But,
And some of it's the system that the, like, the water department uses is different than the system that
I
the
see.
town mapping is shown on. But I would suggest that perhaps we can come up with wording to drill down on that.
I would also, in this case, say that as a humane person, I wouldn't want building, that close to 495.
That is
So,
true.
in this case, I mean, it's a general question, but in this case, it's a specific question. So-
Yeah, it might even be in setbacks that you couldn't do anything. We didn't explore whatsoever, I just
Right.
was
Well, I
wondering.
mean, is there another option other than what I suggested? I mean, have we come across these situations before, Maren, where there's a piece of,
So I would suggest that any planning board decision is based on a particular site plan. And if
Right.
there's no work proposed in an area, then
But also, I think it needs to reference a specific GIS. Whether what we've been presented is the water department or the town. I mean, we need to anchor it to some physical thing that could be going back. Once again, I don't think on this property it's a big issue, but it might be in some other property.
what were you going to say something?
Well, I think there's a legal description probably somewhere. I mean, if the water department was trying to do the legal boundaries, then that would be in their records. So, the mapping differences might not really reflect much reality.
I don't have an appetite to wrestle this issue on this proposal. But, that's me. I don't know how the rest of you feel.
Well, the most important thing to me is just protecting that area,
Yeah,
and
sure.
so whatever we
I
have to do.
mean, we
to
could
get
just
that.
say, the condition could read, protection to the area indicated as a water, what is it, the water aquifer district as delineated on the town GIS.
I actually, rather than referring to that, which we're questioning whether it's
Yeah,
depicted correctly, I would perhaps a certain distance from
Yeah.
that property
from
line.
the property line.
that-
Maybe that's
that
it,
no-
We could refer to it as a buffer or something.
Okay.
And then that may help on the next parcel.
So we'll work on
But
the
why
wording.
don't
for
we
that.
let you tell us how many feet that buffer is based on your site plan?
Sure.
And maybe you should delineate it.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Louisa?
No, I guess I'm thinking about it from a business perspective, that if I were you guys, I'd want to know, I mean, it's 7% of the lot. I'd want to know exactly what can be built there or not built there.
Right. I think at the end of the.
You know what I mean?
I think at the end of the day, this area is almost entirely within the rear setback anyways, so
So, yeah.
it's kind
That's
of a
my
moot point anyway.
Right.
Yes.
I'm certainly going to confirm that either tonight or
That's what
tomorrow
I would-
morning, but
yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I'm intrigued by the legal description as well. That
Yeah, then
might send an
I'd
email.
probably normally go up to the actual points on the.
I mean, I don't think you
survey.
should have to give up 7% of your land as unbuildable if a map is incorrect.
We'll try and find out if it is correct or not. But yeah, I would agree with that, but, zooming in, depending on what it shows.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really densely wooded.
Right,
Yeah.
but you know how we're trying to always think about the future, right? We don't
And that's
wanna
why you
leave
brought this up.
Yeah, we don't want to leave anything for other planning boards to have to wrestle with, so,
Why not?
because we were trying to be good
We're good guy-
humane
we're
people.
good guys.
I don't know, that's just my thought.
So, you may decide to deal with this in a different way that we talked about tonight, which we'll have to deal with. But that is an issue.
Yeah, okay.
Anything else? Okay,
Great.
All right. Thank you
so
very much.
we'll see
See you next month.
Yeah, and
Sounds good. Have a good trip.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Thanks.
So I would recommend a vote to continue the public hearing for 265
can I
Foster
hear a second?
to May 18th, and do this one early again, 6:20.
Sure. Anna?
Yes.
Yes.
Or-
Yes.
Yes. Okay,
All right. Thanks a lot.
bye.
Yep.
So
Okay, let me.
Mark can come in there.
Yeah, Mark can come in. Why don't we flip the,
Yes, okay,
Okay, we've gotta-
to recess until 6:45.
No, it's-
until, oh, then you have
You
to
have
call
to-
the meeting, okay.
You have to,
Well, why don't,
that's-
yeah, that's just a
that's
few
in
minutes,
2
so
minutes.
let's
Yep.
not bother recessing.
I'm just grabbing a copy.
Mr. Connolly, does Maren have your presentation?
Yes.
Okay, all right, great. So then, if that can be posted, that'd be great. You feeling okay there?
Thank you.
Pardon?
Yeah.
Feeling okay?
Take care.
I'm coming off
later.
of a cold, but I'm going to pass out.
Pass the baton to Mark.
Are you out of here?
I'm out of here.
Tell Jim and Lee I said hi.
So you have a 6:45 continued public hearing for 550 Newtown Road.
On the covers, so.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, leave us, Jeff. That's okay, don't worry about
On
it.
your behalf, we just grilled.
Oh, yeah, right. I didn't hear any screaming.
We gagged them.
Now, what do you guys want to do now?
Continued public hearing.
550 Newtown Road, all right. All right, so now we have 650 board business.
Would we have to vote for that?
Yeah.
If you would.
I'll entertain a motion to continue, when are we continuing it to? May 13th? 18th?
18th.
May 18th.
May 18th, what
Are they
time?
going to be ready?
Um,
They better not stand us up again.
We charge them
So-
every time they stand us up?
yeah,
We could always move them to the end.
yeah, this one I would move to, a little later in the evening, and still keep it back to back with the 555 Newtown Road,
Okay.
because the Air Road is gonna be, further along the process.
We'll put them earlier.
Yeah,
Okay.
can we swap them?
So, 265 was at 6:20. This one at 7. On May 18th.
Okay. You want to put 555 right after that, too? Because all the residents, yeah, okay. Looky Beer Road at the end then again.
Then Air Road could move up to 6:40,
Okay.
as a guess.
I'll make a motion to continue this till May 18th at 6, what did we say, 6:40?
7 o'clock for
7
550 Newtown Road.
7 o'clock?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Board business, preview of town meeting, you don't really have anything.
That's correct, yeah, just the acceptance of Crofts Circle.
We already talked about hiring as town planner, try to do Zoom remote. Durkey Farm, where are we at with that?
Let's see, Select Board member and Housing Trust member Cindy Napoli reached out to Town Council for, to help me with a letter describing the process and the next steps.
What are the next steps? They've satisfied all the conditions of approval for Durkey and Kay, so there's no reason for him to keep it. if we want to take it, correct?
Right, so I understand that the next step is for the planning board to produce a letter that says something to that effect, and then that letter will allow the select board to accept the parcel.
Okay.
But town council's,
Working on a letter?
yeah.
So I have a question. So based off the decision that was done for K, it says that the developer was supposed to install a new septic system and a new foundation.
The new septic system is in. New foundation was only if Grimes Lane was to be
Moved,
relocated.
that's right, if they were gonna move it.
Grimes Lane was not relocated, so that part of it
Part of it
is.
goes away, yeah.
Okay. And so there's that piece of it, and then recognizing that it is different but still the same individual developer, has the town received the $70,000 that was agreed to by Mr. Guthrie during the Grimes Lane homes?
Are we getting 10,000 as he pulls a building permit for each lot?
At closing for each one, if I recall.
Okay.
Same, no change since the last time we had the conversation. It's provided $30,000 to, for 3 of the lots to the town. And then his last correspondence was a letter offering, well, not offering, just outlining issues he had with the delay in his building process, his additional costs in the building process, because of delays about the discussion for extending water down Grimes Lane. That's no change since that.
So, but does that mean we're still going to get the 70,000? Because that's what he agreed to do, regardless of what happens on his.
Yeah, the water's not our issue, he agreed to.
No, that's the end of where the conversation has ended.
Has he still only passed on 3 houses, that's the question.
I would guess he's passed on more.
Then we should probably have him come in and discuss with us why he hasn't paid us any more money. So you wanna see if he'd be happy to join us on the 18th?
Because he has 6 of them finished, and there's one that's almost, I mean, it looks like it's well underway.
Last time I drove down there, there were 2 for sale signs at 1.1 and 1.2 million. So I think,
So yeah, we should have him to give us an update on it. Heck, if we gotta be here, let's have somebody else.
Well, $70,000.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. We could put that in CP, are we putting it in the CPC, or what are we doing with it?
That would be my recommendation, to route it through CPC.
What have we done with the first 30?
I believe Alicia Nunley Benjamin, before she left, had town meeting vote on that, but I don't know for sure, and so I will have to follow up with new finance director, and she's
So Alicia's
up to
gone
her
too?
eyeballs, yes.
When did Alicia leave?
She,
It's hard to keep track.
yes, yes. She was here until Patty came on board, and now we have Patty Moore, if I remember correctly. And
Okay.
eventually I will have
Wait,
time
we
to ask
don't
her
have
the time,
Patty?
and she will have
Oh,
time to answer.
okay.
Okay.
Then one final point on this, I had heard that the the HOA at Durkee has the farmhouse as part of their oversight. And so from a legal perspective, would any sort of release of that also need to come from that HOA?
They
Yeah.
shouldn't have it as part of theirs.
I was told by somebody on the HOA that it is on there, so.
it shouldn't be.
It can't be, because it was.
Well, if the town moves forward with the process of accepting the land, one of the first things before the town accepts it is deed research, which would show anything like that.
Yeah, because they're not maintaining it, he's still maintaining it anyway, so it's not even, I don't even think, well, we can find that out pretty easy, okay,
Probably a good idea just to make sure it's clear.
okay.
Title search, that's the right word.
Title search.
I knew there was a better word for it.
What else? Anything else? Done with turkey, no other board business. So we're gonna have like an hour, we can do nothing, do we wanna shut TV off and,
You want to recess until 7:30?
sure, then what do we do for a half hour
We'll
after
do it for
that?
half an hour.
Well, let's recess till at least 7:30. Okay. Board okay with having a brief recess? Because I can't talk anymore and no one wants to hear me.
So at 7:30, it's 555 Newtown, so they are coming in now?
No,
No.
Oh, they're not?
No.
So
I
why
got-
why don't we recess until 7:45
yeah. We'll come out of
or
like
7:30? I mean,
7:45, yeah.
yeah, okay,
You got the cooler in the trunk?
yeah.
All right. All right.
So bad.
Hey, I didn't swear on TV like you
Yeah.
did. I have
Yeah.
never.
I thought that was a generic Bay Stater term.
I don't
Only
think
people
so.
who don't like Bay Staters.
I don't know. I'm flabbergasted. I blushed, I think. Anyway,
You
all right.
did.
All right, so are we okay.
So do we have to tell LCTV that
No, just recess until, what, 7:45?
7:45,
Does
yeah.
that mean the mics are still live?
Oh, well,
We'll shut them off.
Okay, so I'm shutting.
All right.
All right.
Do we tell them?
I think they'll know. See, now they know. Anyway,
Since we know this is only gonna take less than 5 minutes, I'm just gonna log out.
are we on?
Yes.
You want to swear some more or anything? Or are you good? You good with
That was a mistake, and I'm very sorry.
I've never cursed
Hey,
in a planning board meeting. Never cussed. I've almost killed people, grabbed people by the throat, but I don't think I ever cussed. Not yet, anyway.
it's good to have limits. So you have the 7:30 continued public hearing.
Yes, we've already
Recommend
continued.
a vote to continue that.
Let's continue that till the 18th of May
At 7:20 PM.
at 7:20 p.m. Is
And
everybody
we'll
good
be-
with that?
In this room again.
In this room again, yes. We're good with that. Somebody want to make a motion to continue it till then?
So moved.
Second?
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, that was tough.
Yes.
Oh, are you gonna be difficult, are we? Yes. Okay, that's,
The last thing this evening is the 8 PM continued public hearing for 254, 256, and 260 Air Road. Energy Group and
10 minutes, or do you want to start it now?
13 minutes.
15 minutes, they're gonna give us the Reader's Digest version of why they made us stay till 8 o'clock?
Yeah, I think
Okay,
that's exactly what they're gonna say.
okay, all right.
Yep.
They paid the filing fee, right, they're entitled.
Yeah, they did that, and the peer review fee, and actually the ENF MIPA process. Then we just got the notice from the state that's been, that's under state
A new
review.
state review, okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
Anything else? Anything else about town?
How was your conference?
It was exciting to be there. First time in my career that I've been to the National Planning Conference. 4 days and lots of ideas. It was amazing to be in Philadelphia with all the history there. I hadn't been there before. Ran into planners from Pepperell and Groton, and ran into Dan Barton, who did our form-based code. Had some time to chat with Jackie Furtado, who is one of the people at the state who oversees MassWorks grants. She's given the Littleton MassWorks contract to her counterpart. But yes.
How many people were in attendance?
There were 4,000 people that registered.
And all
So-
planners?
Yes, planners.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Some planning commissions from Louisiana would send their whole contingent.
Wow.
So planners, people involved in planning, a lot of planning consultants, a lot of municipal planners, a lot of, what am I trying to say? Consultants, consultant groups, and then politicians that deal with planning. County commissioners, city commissioners.
Were there any new trends that you hadn't heard of or that surprised you that were going on maybe in other parts of the United States?
It was exciting to hear, well, I keyed in on things that, a lot of the housing issues and the federal funding issues. It was very interesting to see that the dollars for housing through HUD will, some of the federal dollars will go to planning activities for communities to do the things that support housing production, like update zoning bylaws, update zoning maps, consider ADUs, consider multifamily, a lot of the things that Littleton's done, and but then also to reward communities that have gone through done those steps already with funding for housing, and also the federal highway dollars coming at it from this way. Federal highway dollars will go to support improvements in communities that have done the housing, that are supporting housing. So it's no longer the bridge to nowhere, it's the bridge to the new development or the redevelopment. So that was exciting to think how that might play into all the work that Littleton's done.
Cool.
That was, yeah.
Did you have a cheesesteak while you were there?
I did have a cheesesteak.
Okay, that's important.
It was.
The Reading Market, did you make it over there?
Yes, did go to the Reading Market. Actually, the entrance to, one of the entrances to the convention center is a hallway, not a hallway, a big hall that's literally on top of the Reading Market.
Oh, nice.
Great.
So, yeah, lots of walking in between different sessions. Found a lot of the presenters very good. Made me feel good when the presenters were nervous, because I'm always a very nervous public speaker. It's like, okay, everybody gets nervous, or most people get nervous
Yes,
about it.
it's very normal.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
What else?
That's it, huh?
That's it. That's all that's going on in town. Now you know everything that's going on.
Yep. Did
When's,
really-
when's the town election? Maybe we should do some public service stuff.
Let's see, so town meeting is Monday, May 1st, at 7 PM in the middle school gym, Cave
Okay.
Gym, Charles Cave Gym. And then that would put elections that Saturday, the 6th. And locations.
So this is
for
our
that.
last meeting before town meeting.
Yes,
Yeah, we don't
The
like.
absentee ballots are not available yet, because I went in today so I could vote, at least get the ballot. They have nothing yet.
Really?
No, it hasn't even been printed.
Imagine that.
Nor did they tell me when.
Is this retirement stuff everything that it's cracked up to be?
Hmm?
Is this retirement stuff everything it's cracked up to be?
Is this for what?
This retirement.
stuff.
Oh, yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. What do you need a hobby though. What hobbies you got now?
I'm learning Spanish.
You're learning Spanish? Oh, okay.
No, I'm still doing some consulting work.
I say I need a hobby.
I would suggest that traveling is your current hobby.
Yes, I have been doing quite a bit of that,
That's good.
as have you.
No, I went away for 4 days.
You're
that's
going
it.
away again to
For
Nassau.
another 4 days.
Oh.
That wasn't for public knowledge, but thank you for
Oh.
telling everybody in Littleton that I'm gonna be away for 4 days to Nassau. Thanks. Yeah, I'm not going for like 2 months.
2 months.
Right. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, 5 minutes.
Couple of minutes anyway, yeah. This is the longest we've ever had a stretch.
Oh, yeah, with
Yeah.
4 applications that came in the same week
Yeah.
it's been difficult to manage.
We should fine them. You know what, moving forward, we gotta get more money. Fine them. They don't.
Yeah, I'll just blame it on the process between, Green struggling to,
Mm.
with several reviews at the same time, and
Well,
Well, I do recall, before I was on the planning board, that there were some meetings where, for various reasons, folks were sitting around waiting, and I recall that you were obviously on the board, but that, I think one time they broke out in song. I think another time they played a trivia game.
I don't remember that.
Breaking out
I do remember
song?
trivia. I don't remember singing. I don't ever remember singing. I do remember
I think I remember
local
Ed
trivia. I do
singing.
remember that. I think we did that
There you
one
go.
time, yes.
Mari
Hey,
remembers.
Hey, what's going on with the well site down at Amazon? Is that moving forward? I know they've been down there doing testing. Do you know any more if they're?
no, I haven't heard any more, which is usually good news.
Yeah, I know that they've been working on getting funding and stuff like that.
Funding and
Get-
state permitting.
Yeah, for the well site down there,
Mhm.
Is anything interesting going on in any other towns? Air, Groton? No?
yeah. Not that I know of, no.
Haven't heard anything.
I see them out putting the pipe in for, what's going on with the reservoir? Now Concord's gonna start drawing water out of the reservoir that they
Oh.
weren't supposed to.
Yeah, I'm not sure what work that is.
Yeah, they got that big dredge out there and
Yeah,
they're putting a
I've
big
seen that.
pipe across and everything else, I
Yeah,
think so,
yeah.
yeah.
But wait, aren't they, isn't that whole shopping mall gonna be torn down? It's gonna be
Yeah,
a car
Car
dealership?
dealership's going in there, yeah, that's what I heard.
When's that
Yeah.
gonna happen?
I don't know, another year or so, I don't know. It's acting.
Yeah, no, I know.
Mm.
Makes you feel any better, there's nothing good going on in Chelmsford either.
Nothing?
No?
Yes, sir, in the downtown area, there's that, that building they've renovated, that's,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
What's gonna go in there?
So that's a restaurant on the first floor, and then some apartment buildings on the top
That's
floor.
cool.
Which building's that?
It's right across,
It's right next to Fishbone, the restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
yeah, but
Yeah.
they've renovated this old building.
Used to be
It
a
looks,
bank.
You don't
it looks
mean-
really nice.
You don't mean the old building where Howard Hall's office used to be?
I think, well, he may have been there. It's the old,
The big white-
old bank, the old bank building.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
He's the big white colonial in the middle there.
Oh, no, yeah, no.
It's not that one, it's the one before it, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it
Cool,
looks
yeah.
good.
Actually, a Pressed Cafe just did finally open in Chelmsford, so that's a good one.
A what?
Pressed Cafe.
Press,
Yep.
press
Have you been?
coffee?
No, it's
It's
like
a
sandwich
chain.
shop.
Oh, I did read something about that.
You want to go, you want to find one.
Why?
They're fantastic.
So what do they serve?
Everything.
Really?
Sandwiches, wraps in the morning. They have, obviously coffees and that type of stuff. Salad bowls and protein bowls.
But it's
and
a chain?
So it's like a
It's-
Panera Bread, kind of
it's
only more
it's
upscale.
almost, yeah, it's just like a Panera Bread, but better.
Better?
So where is it in Chelmsford?
On 129, right off the highway. Used to be where Verizon, the old Verizon building used to be. It's right down the street from the DPW.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's one in Burlington, right at the mall.
Okay.
There's one in Nashua on Spitbrook Road. There's one in Salem by our office.
Huh,
You won't be disappointed.
Okay.
wow.
See?
Yep.
My
Have to
son
check
actually
that out.
works at the Nashua location. He's a big fan. He was a big fan. before he-
Whereabouts is it on Spitbrook?
With Sheraton, the Sheraton, the.
Oh, yeah.
Just go past that on that road that's on the right-hand side.
Oh, okay.
Where did the chain start?
Locally, I believe Nashua was the first location.
Oh,
He was
okay.
a local restaurateur. He had been involved in some other smaller businesses in New Hampshire and decided to venture off on his own and
Yeah.
set up a new place. So we just got one near my work location as well in Bedford, New Hampshire. So
Maybe we could have one in Littleton someday.
It's fantastic, it really
Really
is.
pressed, huh?
Yeah. They make great paninis. and-
Wow.
Is it cool looking inside,
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty.
or is
you
it
know,
pretty
basic.
utilitarian?
Yeah. So, but it kind of reminds you of like a Panera inside or something.
Okay.
Are you done? We're running late
I'm
now.
sorry.
Really, you take it up, look at this.
All right, it's 8:00.
8 o'clock. I hate the delay.
And so it's the continued public hearing for
Oh,
254,
yeah.
256, and 260 Air Road.
What would you like to?
Good evening, Mr.
Updates.
Chairman, members of the board. For the record, Chris Tamula from GPI. With me tonight is Bob Bollinger, our traffic consultant from GPI as well. So just give you a quick overview of where we stand. Since the last meeting, we received our stormwater permit from the town of Air. As you know, we did work on the other side of the road. We had a small little bioretention area. We ultimately got our stormwater permit on March 27th. As I'm sure you're aware as well, we submitted our MEPA filing on March 24th. We received our peer review comments from Green International last Thursday, the 30th, and we've set up a meeting with the Littleton Water Department next week to discuss locations of the groundwater monitoring wells on site. We got correspondence today from Neshoba Board of Health confirming the need for the on-site septic system design, which we're currently in the process of doing. Regarding the peer review, we are in the process of revising the plans. We're anticipating getting the plans revised by the 21st. I talked to Maureen today, and there was some discussion on when the next planning board meeting will be in May. Based on the discussion I heard earlier, it looks like it's May 18th.
May 18th.
So if we provide everything, revised plans and response letter by the 21st, it should give them more than enough time to review the plans, get everything to the town, and hopefully, close everything out in May. And then lastly, based on the feedback that we got from the board, the couple of things that we took away from that was the request to add a bike rack. We have no issue with doing that. We'll add that adjacent to the patio. And with regards to there was a question on EV parking. My client's committed to providing the conduit for future EV parking. So in the event it does become, again, more cost appropriate for the development, they would be able to install that. Just for your basic knowledge, the current grant money for EV parking spaces essentially requires the proponent to build 5 parking spaces and 4 EV charging stations. It takes up a pretty decent amount of room, so there's a lot of real estate that's associated with that, and then there's also the infrastructure for needing a standalone transformer, and obviously all the electrical components that go with that. So they're committed to at least providing it for future build-out, but that's what they've been doing on most of their other sites that they've been working on. And I think that's basically kind of where we stand based on my discussion with Maureen. I think we were hoping to get some positive feedback from the board tonight with hope, again, giving her the ability to possibly write up a decision notice for the next meeting.
The only thing that's gonna hold you up is where you're at with Green. You're dealing directly with Green, correct?
Yeah, so we, the review letter, we're pretty much in agreement with a lot of most of their comments, some clarifications, some typos here and there. There's nothing that I found in the review letter that was, gonna have a major impact on the overall design. So we feel confident that we'll be able to address the comments, provide them the information, and move on from there.
Do you have a law firm involved with your? Do you want to do the conditions, or do you want us to?
We don't have a law firm at this time. We could get somebody, but I'm not sure if we'd be able to get them by the time.
I find that a lot of times the engineers do a pretty good job of drafting the decision. So I'm always willing to accept whatever help given on drafting a decision. So if you choose, just let me know.
Sure.
Otherwise, I'll get started on that.
We'll send it to town council just so that. Board have any questions or concerns?
I have a couple questions.
Go ahead.
So I don't quite recall peer review item number 13. It has to do with the trip generation. Can you,
That's why we're above here.
I just wanted to have it explained because it just doesn't make sense to me. So maybe reading it, so,
Oh, actually, I'm sorry, I can actually address that for you, Bob. So comment number 13 says, the proposed relocate, and correct me if I'm wrong, the proposed relocate driveway does not match the proposed sidewalk edge of pavement by the master, that comment? So when we put our plans together, when we were laying out the driveway, we matched our proposed driveway to the existing conditions of the road that's out there. And the MassDOT plans are slightly shifting that location of the edge of pavement. So basically, their comment is to blend our proposed driveway curb radii into the new Mass DOT curbing. We have no
Okay.
issue with that. Again, we were basing it on existing conditions, even though, you know, MassDOT is going through there. So that was that.
and residents who are in that area are learning about all of this work. And so if they do have questions very specific to the roadway, that's not something that they should be concerned about from you. That's something very specifically to MassDOT.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure that that's something I'm explaining to folks. And second, item number 37, tree removal.
Yep.
Do you have a specific plan already for that?
So we don't have a tree removal plan. Obviously, we have our grading and drainage and overall site development, and we have our landscaping plan. Yeah, I mean, that's a great photo. So what we tried to do is outline the limits of the tree line. So along the outskirts, you see those bubbly line type, looks like little half circles. That's the proposed tree line. So essentially, most of the development, that's where the convenience store is, and the parking for the trucks in the rear. All the trees in there, in that area, are gonna be, you know, coming down. There is, I believe, a 30-foot elevation difference from Air Road to the back right-hand corner of the property. So we have to do a pretty substantial amount of clear cutting and, you know, tree removal to, you know, basically grade the site and lower the elevations down.
The reason why I'm asking is because I'm hearing folks who are really concerned about when developments like this happen, whether or not there are really significantly aged trees that still should be preserved. And so do we have the ability to have anybody check on that? Is it Shade Tree Committee that could comment? Is it anybody else that would be able to comment on something like that?
You're not gonna keep a tree that's in the middle of where that building's gonna go. I mean, even if there was a nice tree there, there's not much you can do about that.
So is there any assessment that can be done, though, just to even,
We're gonna hopefully make sure that they replant the berm up above it substantially so that whatever trees you take out, you're gonna make sure that it's,
Yeah, so along the right-hand side, there is, obviously, like I said, there's a pretty substantial grade difference. So we do have a retaining wall proposed, and then there's a slope on top of that. Planting any trees on the slope might be
No, not the
problematic,
top, but the
but
top.
we wouldn't have any issue providing, you know, a fence along the top, you know, a 6-foot stockade solid fence. Unfortunately, the way the site, like I said, the way the site's graded and the topography on the site, other than the small, tiny triangular corner in the top, I don't believe there's really any room for
is there
added
mostly
trees.
pines there? Cause that's right next to it. It's all big, tall old pines up
Right.
there,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah?
Yeah, again, we're not, you know, at the top of the slope. I think it would make sense to, instead of try to plant anything on a slope, it's a 2-to-1 slope in some areas. Trees aren't gonna stand, you know, be able to be essentially built without tree boxes and a lot of effort. If there really is a concern about a buffer to the residential, I think a solid stockade fence would be the most
Well,
appropriate.
it's the trailer park of the campgrounds there. yeah.
Absolutely. And obviously, on top of the retaining wall, we do have a chain link fence, but that's more of a safety issue.
Yeah.
So we have no issue adding a solid stockade fence along that area.
Okay.
Anything else?
Nope, not at this
Okay.
time.
Bartlett?
Well, I don't have much. It just seemed to me in reading the Green comments that there were a lot of issues of coordination with the state highway. I mean, clearly that's something in progress and you were dealing with it.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we've had multiple meetings with MassDOT, and obviously we can't formally file with MassDOT until we get our MEPA certificate. We've filed our MEPA certificate, we have to go through that process, but we've had initial discussions with them. Our plans incorporate both their roadway work as well as conceptual, the left turn lanes that we talked about at the last hearing. They've been aware of that, they've seen that information, so we're working with MassDOT.
All right, yeah, I just had another question. I don't understand some of the terminology. What are pass-by trips?
That I will let Bob discuss.
Thanks, Chris.
Good evening, members of the board. Mr. Chair, members of the board, for the record, Robert Bollinger, traffic engineer, Greenman Peterson. To answer your question, pass-by trip is basically a vehicle already on the adjacent roadway system that turns into a site out of impulse or as part of another trip elsewhere along the network. So if you were already traveling eastbound on 2A 110, you decide, oh, look, there's coffee down there now, or I'm going to get gas on the way to work. You would turn right in and make a right out. You're basically taking a credit for vehicles that are already on the roadway system. The opposite of a pass-by trip would be a primary trip, where this site is their ultimate destination. They're making a special trip effectively to come to this site, utilize the services of this property, and then return back to their place of origin. There was a comment from Green regarding essentially the pass-by rate that was utilized. That's something that we're in the process of looking at, and we believe that comment can be fully addressed, and that will be addressed in our follow-up response.
Okay, is there a way you can control the number of cars that drive in and drive out again?
There are some there's published data available, which is typically what we rely on to try to estimate that percentage that's, already, kind of adjacent to the site. And, we also utilize some judgment there, but based on Green's comments, we can certainly go back and revisit that. I would like to point out, this is probably the most important point, it doesn't change the overall amount of traffic entering and exiting the site. We would stand by that number, the total ins plus the total outs during the specified peak hour times. That will remain constant. It's just what sort of percentage, in essence, you're taking credit for that's already on the adjacent street system. And I probably muddied the water a little bit on that one, but it's sort of an in the weeds technical question that I think that we can. That's not to dismiss your question at all, but I believe it's something that we can certainly work out with Green through our response.
Okay.
So is it just kind of massaging numbers to meet whatever this requirement is? Because I was confused too about that comment. Like, there's no way you can really control it.
That's something we can revisit, I guess, without just throwing random numbers at you. We stand by the fact that, as projected, and Green didn't disagree with this number, the total projected trips, it's about 339 during the morning peak hour, 327 during the PM peak hour, about 385 trips on Saturday. That's the total of all ins and outs. It's the stratification of those numbers. In other words, how much credit can you take for what's already on the adjacent street system? That total amount will still be present at the site. So it's
Sounds like it's a big dartboard, and massaging a lot of historical data.
We try to rely on the empirical data that's
Yeah.
available. Again, there is some engineering judgment involved as well. This question comes up quite often, but again, it's something that we feel confident that we can resolve with Green, and hopefully satisfy any concerns or address any concerns that the board may have as well.
Anything else? One last thing, since you are in the MEPA process and you're asking us to do a draft decision, obviously we'll do a draft decision, and it's going to be subject to the final determination by MEPA, right? And just make sure you know that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. so.
I did have one last question. I just want to confirm that there will be a sidewalk, this entire strip on Air Road in front of your property?
Yep.
Okay.
So as part of the MassDOT plans, they do have a sidewalk shown there.
Okay.
And we do show an ADA accessible sidewalk connection from that sidewalk to our site.
Okay. But along the length of your site?
Correct.
Okay, all right.
It doesn't really go anywhere, but at least it's
No,
there.
but we gotta start somewhere.
I get you, I get it. Anything else? We good?
No, my only other question, it doesn't relate to the applicant, but rather if residents do have questions related to what's going on in that intersection, where should we send them to for their questions?
Well, it's-
I've already responded to a couple of questions.
Okay, so have them
Are
come
you
to you
sending them
first.
to MassDOT, whatever?
Yeah, I know that one resident did reach out directly to MassDOT, so
Yeah.
MassDOT does take questions, so.
Because most of this is driven by them,
Right,
right?
yeah.
Right, and there's typically a public outreach portion as part of the MEPA process as well. So, there's, obviously it's open to the general public at that time.
So we're gonna continue you to the 18th
When do you think you'd start construction on this?
tomorrow.
Being that it's April now, I would think that they would potentially, well, I'm sorry. It's all really contingent on getting the MEPA certificate.
Right.
So that could take, based on the discussion that we've had with our environmental consultant, that process might take 6 to 9 months.
Right.
And then, only then can we apply to MassDOT for the curb cut permit.
Okay.
So we're anticipating that process 2 to 3 months, maybe. I think we might be able to expedite the MassDOT process because we've already had discussions with them. So I think when all's said and done, we might be actually looking at spring of next year.
When you would start actually?
When we would start
yeah,
actual
break
construction.
ground, Okay.
Yep. But, obviously, the first step is meeting with you folks, getting planning board approval, and then going from there.
May 18th.
6:40 PM for this one?
That sounds fantastic, actually.
Sure? Board okay with that?
Yeah.
Are you leading off with them, or they?
Well, 6:20 would be the Foster Street, and then 6:40
Okay,
Deer Road.
okay. So they're
Move
batting
on to
second, they're
Newtown Road.
batting second. Okay, cool.
Great.
And you're gonna deal directly with Green, and hopefully by the time we
Absolutely.
see you.
And we'll keep, town staff copied on everything.
Great. All right, so
Great.
I'll entertain a motion to continue this till the 18th at 6:40.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you very much. And we appreciate your patience staying.
Oh, hey,
We get overtime.
yeah.
I especially commend you on the planning board in my town as well, so,
You get more money than we do?
yes, I think we just got a raise last year up to 0, so.
Yeah, that's where we are right now. Thank you.
0, 0 to 0.
I'll entertain a motion that we
Yeah. I was gonna-
adjourn, unless you guys want to do something else.
I move that we adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye.